Steve Mazzone here from Ocean State Running, and I'm here with Cumberland's Adah Anderson and Shakira DePina for the latest of our Celebrating Seniors feature here on Ocean State Running. So first of all, girls, I just want to welcome you and thank you for joining us here today. We're doing this kind of to give you guys an appropriate send-off. We know you guys have kind of been shortchanged with this COVID-19 kind of putting an end to your season kind of abruptly. So this is our way of giving back to you somewhat. But again, I thank you for joining us here today. So we're just going to shoot up a series of questions, find out a little bit more about you guys, find out a little bit about your thoughts on certain things. But basically, we want you to have fun with this. So Adah, I'm going to begin with you. So describe how you're handling this COVID-19. Kind of came at you guys pretty quickly, and before you knew it, you're home for the whole school year, and then your season gets canceled. So what was your initial reaction when all this started happening?
Well, I think that we all kind of saw it coming, but for me specifically, I tried not, even though of course we saw everything on the news, I tried not to freak out about it that much and like kind of keep it in perspective because nothing was really being done at the time. But then once everything was done, it was all like, it all happened at once. So I think that was definitely difficult, but I'm definitely just trying to stay calm and optimistic and hope that this all resolves itself soon. And yeah, and just doing my part to try to improve it or not make it as problematic as I can.
And how about you, Shakira? What are your thoughts on everything that happened in this short period of time?
I mean, it's kind of hard to just digest everything all at once, but I think as time goes by, we sort of adapt to our new situation and our circumstances. And the great thing about our sport is that you might cancel our season, but we're still able to run. So that's what, we're doing, just running every day and, getting back into that healthy habit.
Yeah, and speaking of that, first of all, I just want to mention to people that you guys are middle distance and long distance stars at Cumberland. Adah, you did 19:09, I guess, for your PR for 5K, 10:48 for 3K, and 4:59 for 1500. And Shakira, 2:2800, and also 48 seconds for 300-meter hurdle. So kind of versatile there. So tell me, what have you girls been doing to try to keep motivated during this time? I mean, you're used to running with teammates all the time, and now it's pretty much you're doing these things solo, and you got to kind of get motivated to get out there because I'm sure you're still competing. I know, or you're still training. I know runners are resilient people. So talk about that. How are you girls keeping motivated out there?
Well, I think that it's been really helpful because our coach has definitely designed a pretty thoughtful schedule. So we all do the same thing every single day. Basically, I mean, it's varies maybe mileage and pace for every person, but like knowing that we all have a workout on one day or we're going to be doing the virtual race together on another day, and just kind of staying in contact as much as we can as a team, and motivating each other, even though we can't really run together. I think it's definitely helpful to know that we're all in the same position and we're all getting out there and doing what we can every day.
Yeah, and how about you, Shakira?
Just as Adah was saying about like motivation and how what our coach has designed, like a really strategic schedule that kind of like brings us back to normalcy because that's what we're all like yearning for, and we just want our team back together. And I think we sort of have that luckily, just because we are a very close-knit team. And so even though we aren't able to see each other and run another as a team would normally do, we're always in contact with one another and just keeping up to date. So that really helps.
So Adah, I know you've been with Cumberland for 4 years. Shakira, have you been competing for 4 years?
Yeah, I just started competing though for as a mid distance this year though, but yeah.
So girls, why don't you tell me what has been the highlight of your career there? No, Shakira. I mean, Adah, I know you were a star runner as a freshman, and then you went through a series of injuries, and then you were able to come back. So, yeah, tell me, what was the highlight of your 4 years there?
Yeah, so definitely at the beginning of my career, I enjoyed a lot of success. I won the freshman state championship for cross country and for the 3K and track. That was really special to me. And then at the beginning of my sophomore year at the Maine Festival of Champions Invitational, that's when I ran my 5K PR. And then right after that, I started really the race right after that, I started experiencing a lot of medical concerns that kind of, I mean, I'm still dealing with today. So I went through a period of just kind of dealing with that for the rest of my sophomore year. And then at the beginning of my junior year, not being able to run at all. And then I think really although I had so much success as a freshman and as a sophomore at the beginning, I think that it was really special for me at the end of the spring season of my junior year, being able to come back finally after not being able to really run it at that much of my junior cross country season and not at all for my indoor season. I was definitely yearning to be able to get back. And so I think that was the highlight, and just the team atmosphere and my coach being so supportive. I think that's when I really realized how lucky I am to be on a team like this. And so, I mean, all the other successes are great, but I think that was just really special that season in particular for me.
Yeah, and tell me, how difficult was that going through that year and a half that you went through? You know, like you said, being a star runner there as a freshman, and then, you know, unfortunately getting these injuries that kind of put a standstill.
Yeah, it was really difficult for me, and I mean, I still struggle with it now, but especially at the beginning, when I didn't really know what was going on, and I was kind of just going from doctor to doctor, that kind of thing. It was scary for me because it felt like my whole life was changing drastically, and something like the most important thing really to me in my life was running, and then not being able to have that, and just kind of having to sit on the sidelines was really difficult for me. But I think that it really made me more motivated than ever to be able to come back and do what I could do for the team. So, I mean, that period was really awful for me, honestly, but I think it helped me realize how much I love the sport, and really get me excited for the future and what I could do from there.
Yeah, and how about you, Shakira? What's been the highlight for you in your 4 years?
I think the highlight, honestly, would just be this year in its entirety, just because it was my first year ever running cross country in high school, and we were able to make it to New England, and then running the 4x8 and getting second team all-state at states, and then qualifying for nationals, and just being a part of a team. I've never done that before as a sprinter. It's always been individual, and so it was really great to just be a part of something bigger than yourself.
So tell me, what was the reason you decided to run cross country and also become a middle distance runner? That's a big jump going from sprints to middle distance. It's a little different.
Yeah, so junior year, I got fifth, actually sixth, at the 300-meter hurdles at states. And so when I went to New England, my coach convinced me that if I wanted to improve my time, it would really help if I joined cross country, because I would be able to kind of get faster and improve my endurance. And I originally just joined cross country just to do it and to get it over with. But then I realized that it was just the best thing that could have ever happened to me, and it was the best decision that I've made. So very grateful for that.
So next thing I want to ask you guys, I know the dreaded track workouts. It's kind of a love-hate thing with athletes. We know how important they are, and we love them, but we also they also can be grueling. So what is been what could you describe as your favorite workout? Ada, why don't we begin with you?
Mine, even though people might think this is crazy, is definitely mile repeats. I like long stuff. I'm definitely not like, I don't like 200s, 400s. That's not really my favorite, but mile repeats I love. We do them on the track sometimes, and sometimes we do them at Lincoln Woods for cross country. That's definitely my favorite.
Now, what's a typical mile repeat workout that you would do?
Um, I've done, I think typical is like 4 or 5. Yeah, 4 or 5 by a mile. Like I said, we've done them on the track, or we'll do like Lincoln Woods. We have loops where we'll go like out a mile and then come back. But
How much rest in between?
oh, I'm trying to remember. It's been a while. I think she usually gives us. It's pretty typical to have like 2 minutes, I would say.
Yeah, that can definitely be a tough workout. 2 minute rest in between mile repeats. So how about you, Shakira? What's your favorite workout?
The total opposite of what Ada just said. I prefer the 200s, 300s, and 400s. This indoor, we focused a lot on like broken 800. So we might do like a 500 and a 300, then 2 400s, and then just break them down. And I think I like those because they're fast, they're to the point, and you're tired and at the end, but it's a good workout and you're done really early.
How about what is it that motivates you, that gets you pumped up before a meet, gets you pumped up for a workout? But what is it that motivates you about running?
For me, it's definitely the team. Because I feel like we always have a team goal, especially obviously cross country is more team oriented. So like I know that it really was great for the state meet this year, even though I wasn't feeling my best. I knew like what I wanted to do for the team, and that I was racing that race to get a good place for the team. And even in track, like we'll have even our dual mates, we'll have the teams that we want to beat. And so I like just focusing on beating as many people from the opposing team that I can.
And how about you, Shakira?
Yeah, definitely that. It's just you have to put the team first and everything that you do. And I think that, since this was my first year, I kind of had fun with everything just because I didn't really know what my times would be. So I just went in to every race with, a positive attitude, and I was just really pumped to run and see what I could do, just because every race this year was my last. And I wanted to make sure that not only did I have fun, but I just put my all into it and just see the results.
Now, Shakira, you had mentioned that 4x800 team qualified for the nationals.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that was one of the first times, right, in a while that the 4x8 made it into that.
Yeah, I think it's been a couple of years.
What was it about that team that made you guys click and made you be able to accomplish that goal, which is a great goal? Unfortunately, the nationals were canceled, but just to make it is something to be proud of. What was it that made you guys click this year?
I think the 4 of us were just really goal-oriented people to begin with. And in the beginning of the season, our coach told us that, she wanted us to make nationals. And at first, it kind of sounded like a really bizarre, out there idea. And, in the beginning, it just seemed really far-fetched. But, with the proper training that we had, and the determination that came along with that as well, I think everything just clicked. And it was race after race. We didn't give up. there were some races where we didn't do our best, but that just pushed us to keep, striving for that ultimate goal, which was nationals.
Now, I know you guys compete, you compete at Maine, you compete at other meets. I think you've competed down at the Reggie Lewis Center at some of those meets as well. What's your favorite meet that you've competed in throughout your 4 years?
Mine is definitely the Maine Festival of Champions. Yeah, every time that I've run there, I've had at least a season's best. That's where my 5K PR is. So it's just a very special place to me. And it's great because the whole team goes and we all ride up on the bus together. And it's just a really fun team bonding experience. And it's kind of a low stress race because there's no like huge weight placed on it because it doesn't really matter how we do as a team, but I think it makes it more fun and people more relaxed and everyone runs well there. So it might be for that reason, but yeah, it's just a fun race where we all know that we can run fast.
And there's like 300 people in your race, right? Isn't there a lot of people in just your race?
Yeah.
And how about you, Shakira?
Yeah, Maine has to be one of them just because not only is it a fast trail, but also everyone there is just ready to run fast, and we're all just super excited to be there in the first place. And then I think at Reggie Lewis track for New England's, that was also one of my favorite races and places to race just because of the atmosphere and where you when you put so many great performing athletes together in a room, the energy is just really there and everyone is just really ready to compete and to watch others compete, whether it be their teammates or other runners, and it's just a really good time.
Now I know track and field athletes, runners, and are superstitious people. I mean, most sports figures are, but I think track athletes more so than most. Are there any type of rituals you have to do before a race, and any type of like pre-race meal that you have to have each time you run a meet?
Yeah, so one weird ritual that I have is I have to wash my hair the night before a race, which is really bizarre, but I started doing it in middle school. I don't even know why. And then before a race for breakfast, I always eat the same thing. I always have scrambled eggs, a banana, and like a piece of toast. I don't know. I've done that since middle school too.
So every meet, that's the meal you have.
Yeah. And then like if the race is later in the afternoon, I'll have like a peanut butter and jelly for lunch. That's another thing I've done since middle school.
So tell me about this hair thing. When did this start, that you have to wash your hair the day before a race?
I don't know. Like, I think it just started, I don't even remember, honestly, because it was so long ago. And it's so weird, I know. But I don't know. I have to do it no matter what. I don't know.
Does it just make you feel quicker or something?
I don't know. It just makes me feel, like, clean. I don't know. And I guess it makes me feel quicker.
How about you, Shakira?
I wear the same like colored socks. It's always like white socks, and they either have like blue stripes at the bottom or they're pink, but there's the same type of design socks. And then I always have like pearl earrings on, and I try to have like the same necklace, and I've lost a couple necklaces, but so far this is the one that I race in. And the cross country girls normally always have like ribbons in their hair. So when I race, I always have to have like the blue, white.
That's true, yeah.
So you guys certainly proved my notion that runners are superstitious.
True.
How about pre-race music? Is there any particular music you have to listen to? I remember when I was young, I was telling the guys before, I had to play the Rocky theme song the night before I competed, and it happened every night. Every night before I competed, that's what I played. How about you guys? Is there any particular music you have to listen to before you compete?
Honestly, the team makes fun of me because I love country music and that's basically all I listen to. So, I basically go along with whatever someone else. We have a few designated music players and on our team, so usually on our warm up, they'll be in charge of playing the music and their playlist. I just let them do it because they know more about it than me.
How about you, Shakira?
Um, Anything that's kind of like gets you pumped up, I'd say. I mean, unlike Ada, I don't really typically listen to country music, but I'm not opposed. It's just it hasn't come up yet. But really anything that will get you hyped for a race.
Yeah, and speaking of music, Shakira, were you named after the singer by any chance?
Yeah, I was. I get that
You were?
question.
Okay. And the other thing I want to ask, totally unrelated to track, if you could go anywhere in the world and all expense paid trip, where would you go?
For me, it would definitely be Greece. 'Cause that's definitely like somewhere I've always dreamed of going just because it's so beautiful and I feel like there's so much to do there. And it's definitely a place that I don't really know a lot about the culture, I feel like. So I would really love to visit and learn more about it.
How about you, Shakira?
As ironic as it seems, especially right now, I'd love to go to Italy. Not in the next couple, maybe in like 10 years after everything. But I think Italy's so great just because no matter where you go in Italy, there's just, I don't know, whether it's art or culture, food, there's always something interesting and vibrant about the country.
And I have no idea why I'm asking this question, but I'm going to ask it anyways. If
Yeah.
you could be any kind of animal, which animal would you want to be? And tell me why.
Oh gosh. Probably a dog. I love dogs, but I think that they just live like the best life. They don't have to do too much, but they also get to go outside and like run around and go on walks and that kind of thing. Like I think being a cat might be too boring for me, but being a dog would probably be more fun. And also just having like, I don't know, having a family to live with, I think would be fun too.
You do know that your lifespan's only like 15 years though, right?
Yes, I know that is true. I didn't really think about that.
How about you, Shakira?
I think it's pretty basic, but I'd say dolphin just because they're pretty like in tune with a lot of things and they're really friendly but they're also they can fight, so that's also good. They're underestimated in that sense. So I like that about them.
Good point. And how about what's been the best piece of advice or inspirational quote? What's been the best advice or a quote that's been given to you throughout your years as an athlete?
Mine would definitely be from my coach. She gives me a lot of really good advice, but especially when I was first coming back, like I had mentioned, my junior year, I remember when I was cleared to run a mile, she bought me balloons and like had this big celebration. And it was definitely very difficult for me to kind of experience a deterioration in my performance and things that were once easy for me not being so much, especially there at the beginning. But she always reminded me to celebrate the mountains that I'm climbing and recognizing what I am able to do and kind of putting it in perspective and being very grateful for what I am able to do and recognizing that and kind of finding peace and happiness with it.
Very inspirational words, definitely. Shakira, how about you?
I have two inspirational kind of messages, and they both come from our coach. One of them is "Why not us?" And we always used to come at her for saying this because she'd say this at the top of her lungs in her Irish accent. But I think that I've now began kind of realize the importance of like why not us, and it's more of like a team thing, like why can they do it but we can't. So you got to put your team first, and you have to think like if any other team could do it, why can't we? What's so special about them that that we can't do? And when you get into that kind of mindset, it's kind of like you're at the top of the world and no one can really stop you, because you can really do anything that you set your mind to. But the other thing would probably have to be, I remember as we were going into states, she told us, talk to yourself, don't listen to yourself. And I think that resonated with me, and specifically just because I get in my head a lot. And before even starting races, I've just kind of lost the race, because I've gone into some races where I'm like, I can't do it. So as soon as even before I step into the starting line, I've already lost that race because of just where my headspace was in already. So I like the fact that when you're talking to yourself, you're not listening to all of the negativity, and you're not listening to, the thoughts that you might be putting into your head. But when you talk to yourself, you're kind of giving yourself that pep talk, you're motivating yourself, and you're reminding yourself of what you can, and instead of what you can't do.
Great. Of course, the coach you guys are talking about is Nessa Malloy, who's been coaching at Cumberland, I think at least 10 years, or she's been there for a while, but definitely an inspirational coach. So my last question is, who do you want to give a shout out to, or shout outs to? I kind of know, I think, one person that you guys are going to shout out to, but Adah, why don't you begin? Oh, I think she's frozen. How about you, Shakira? You want to begin?
Yeah, so is it anyone on our team?
Team, coach, it could be multiple people.
Yeah, so of course, our coach, I mean, if she can turn a sprinter into a long mid-distance runner, I mean, that says a lot about her. And I'd have to say some of my teammates, like Olivia Belt, Elizabeth Pickering, Grace Carr, that's my 4x8 team. And, we kind of just, we had a lot of success. And obviously, we had to suffer the devastating news about nationals getting canceled. But the great thing is that we just did it all together. So if it wasn't for them, I think the process in the news would hit a lot, harder.
Absolutely. Adah, do we have you back now? I think you were frozen.
Yeah, sorry, I froze up.
That's okay. So who do you want to give shout outs to?
So definitely also Malloy. She has, I really can't even express in words how much she means to me and how much she's done for me. She's really my biggest role model in life, and she's been there with me through everything. So I can't thank her enough. And of course, also my family and my parents, who have also been such supports for me through everything and through running and life, and also the team, who's also been a great support system. And I think this year, especially our cross country season, I definitely felt like everyone on the team was super dedicated to us and our goals as a team. And that was something really unique that I hadn't really experienced before in that way. So yeah, this year's team was definitely really special to me.
So girls, I want to thank you for joining us here today. Now, Adah, you're going off to Brandeis University, where you're going to major in politics and social justice.
Yes.
And Shakira, you're going to American University, right? Now, what are you going to major down there?
I'll be majoring in interdisciplinary major, which is CLEG. It's like communications, legal institutions, economics, and government.
Okay. So, and both of you guys are going to do track and cross country down at your schools?
Yes.
Well, girls, good luck. Good luck in the next chapter in your life. But again, thanks for joining us here today. Again, we just wanted to give you guys a proper send-off, because you certainly deserve it for all the hard work that you do. I'm sure you're leaders on your team, and I'm sure they look up to you guys, but you definitely deserve a proper send-off, and this is our way of doing it. So again, I thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Not a problem. Take it easy.